Do you want to destroy someone who has wronged you, humiliated you, or stands in your way without ever lifting a finger, raising your voice, or getting your hands dirty? Today, we will unlock the art of silent destruction, the Machiavellian path to defeating your enemies without ever attacking them directly. They say to crush your enemy completely, but what if you could do it without ever striking, without drawing blood, and without them realizing you were the architect of their fall? Today, I, Niccolò Machiavelli, will teach you the cold, elegant art of destroying anyone without ever attacking them. Sit close, for what you learn today will forever change how you see your rivals, your colleagues, even your so-called friends. They will never see you coming. That is the beauty of silence, the most underestimated force in the arsenal of power. While others believe strength lies in noise, confrontation, and endless speeches, the true practitioner of domination knows that silence and observation are the first steps toward the power of silence and observation in visible conquest. Your enemies, whether they stand in your office, your social circle, or even within your family, all share one fatal flaw. They believe they are clever. They believe all hidden from them that any family or floor will share invisible flaw. They believe they are clear. They believe that because they can talk, they can control the narrative. And because they can control the narrative, they can control the outcome. Let them believe that. Let them drown in their own noise while you sit quietly recording every detail, each tick, each blink, each hesitation in their tone. When you walk into a room, do not rush to speak or to show your intelligence. That is what fools do. The loudest man in the room is the weakest because he reveals his intentions, his insecurities, and his desires. You, on the other hand, must be a fortress without windows, your face a mask of calm curiosity, your mind a ledger of the weaknesses they offer you freely. They will want your attention. They will seek your approval. And in doing so, they will expose the cracks in their own armor. Listen to how they speak of others, for it will reveal how they will speak of you when you are absent. Listen to how they complain, for it will reveal their sense of entitlement and the pressure points of their dissatisfaction. While you remain silent, you will notice that people despise empty air. They feel the need to fill it, and in doing so they confess their ambitions, their frustrations, and their hidden fears. They will tell you how they wish to be seen, and in that confession, they reveal who they truly are. One will complain about not receiving enough recognition. Another will share how he wishes to be admired for his achievements. Another will make jokes that hide jealousy beneath forced laughter. All of these are seeds that you will collect, storing them for the moment you will need to destroy them without lifting a finger. When you master the art of silence, you can control the room without a single word. Your calm presence will unsettle them, for they will project onto you their own anxieties. They will assume you are judging them, plotting against them, or looking down upon them. Let them assume. Let them grow restless while you sit in the eye of the storm. This discomfort will make them reveal even more, attempting to gain your favor or your validation, thinking that your silence is disapproval they need to overcome. Do not give them the comfort of your approval too easily. Let your approval be rare, a currency so valuable that they must work for it. And while they are working for it, they will expose more weaknesses, more contradictions, and more of their hidden agendas, all of which you will file away with quiet discipline. While others spend their time making enemies by reckless words and public outbursts, you will remain untouched, your reputation unblemished, your position secure. They will burn bridges with their tongues while you build networks in silence, extracting information and building influence without noise. In every meeting, every conversation, every room you enter, you will leave with more knowledge about your enemies, while they leave with nothing about you. They will underestimate you, thinking your silence is weakness, your calmness is ignorance, your observation is disinterest. Let them. They think their reputation is unbreakable. They think their image is who they are. But what they fail to realize is that a man's reputation is a weapon, one that can be used against him with precision without ever raising a hand. People worship perception more than truth. And if you learn to manipulate perception, you will watch them destroy themselves in a desperate attempt to protect the fragile image they worship. Every man builds a mask, an identity he wants the world to see. It is built on years of carefully chosen words, crafted gestures, forced laughter, selective victories, and hidden failures. Your task is not to attack that mask openly. That would be childish, wasteful, and dangerous. You let them wear that mask while you learn how to loosen its ties slowly, carefully, until it falls on its own in front of the people they seek to impress the most. You will start by identifying what their reputation is built upon. Is it their charm, their supposed integrity, their strength in negotiations, their ability to keep secrets, their generosity? Watch carefully and listen when they speak, for they will constantly remind weaponizing reputation and perception others of what they wish to be known for. They will repeat their virtues because repetition cements perception. Let them speak. Let them display these virtues proudly, because every mask has a crack and it is your duty to find it. When you find that crack, you do not rush. You test it quietly. If their reputation is built on honesty, you let them contradict themselves in small things, and you remember each moment, each inconsistency, each minor lie they spoke without realizing. If their reputation is built on loyalty, you watch how quickly they gossip, how easily they shift alliances in small arguments, how quickly they abandon their own standards when it is convenient. You do not confront them. You do not challenge them. You let them believe that you are blind to these flaws, that you are too foolish to notice, that you are too kind to care. In time, you will find ways to allow others to see these contradictions without it ever tracing back to you. You ask questions in the right places, questions that seem innocent, but each question is a whisper that loosens their mask further. Did he really say that? I thought he always stood for honesty. That's strange. I thought he was loyal to them. Let others speak. Let others repeat these questions. Let others spread the uncertainty while you remain the silent observer, never the accuser. They will feel the shift, but they will not know where it started. They will sense that their reputation is trembling, that eyes are watching them differently, that respect is no longer as warm as before. But they will not see your shadow moving through the whispers. They will try to tighten the mask again, forcing themselves to act with exaggerated integrity, exaggerated loyalty, exaggerated strength, and in doing so, they will appear fake, desperate, and insecure. Their own efforts to protect their image will betray them, exposing the fear they carry inside, showing the world that their reputation was nothing but a fragile illusion. While they are distracted, obsessed with maintaining this image, trying to manage every perception, you gain power over them. For a man who is desperate to protect his image will compromise anything else to save it. You will see them making deals they swore they would never make, apologizing for things they once boldly declared, betraying those they promised to protect, all to keep their illusion alive for just one more day. Every step they take to protect their reputation will become a rope around their neck, tightening with every false word, every forced action, every desperate attempt to be seen as perfect. And the beauty of it is that they will never see you. They will never know it was you who set the questions in motion, who exposed the inconsistencies, who let their own actions condemn them. They said, if the sun had shined, then it would have been the sun that condemned them. They walk proudly through the world thinking their strength lies in the alliances they have built, the friends they have collected, the supporters who cheer for them. They believe they are untouchable because they have people who will defend them, protect them, and speak for them. But what they fail to understand is that the strongest fortress often falls not from a battering ram at its gates, but from termites eating away silently within its walls. You will not need to attack your enemy when you learn the art of isolation and subtle division, for you will watch them crumble under the weight of their own loneliness, while they still believe they are surrounded by allies. People love to align themselves with strength, but they also love to align themselves with opportunity. They will remain loyal to your enemy as long as they benefit from the association, as long as they believe it is in their interest to stand beside him. The social exercise. Even when they are together, your task is to quietly shift that belief, to let the ground beneath their alliances begin to crack without making a sound. You do not confront. You do not demand loyalty. You do not declare war on friendships. Instead, you create small doubts, gentle reminders of your enemy's flaws, soft suggestions that perhaps your enemy is not as stable as he appears. You begin by understanding who surrounds your enemy, who advises him, who praises him, who reports to him, who admires him from a distance. When the danger passes, you re-establish Emily for a moment. First, let me understand your enemy who advises him, who praises him, who professes him. You study these people carefully, for they are the pillars that hold him up. You observe what they want, what they fear, what they desire, and what they isolation and subtle division envy in your enemy. When you see a man who feels overshadowed by your enemy, you feed his sense of resentment with a casual remark that lingers in his mind. When you see a supporter who feels unappreciated, you praise him quietly, allowing him to feel seen in a way your enemy never allowed him to feel. You do not demand they turn on your enemy. You simply let them question their loyalty in silence. As they begin to question, they begin to withdraw. Not with grand gestures, but with small shifts, a delayed response, a hesitant praise, a subtle distance. Your enemy will notice these shifts, but will not understand why they are happening. He will sense that the people he relies on are no longer fully aligned with him, but he will not know how to stop the bleeding. In his panic, he will try to regain control, often by demanding loyalty, by questioning others, by displaying frustration. These actions will only deepen the doubt in the minds of those around him, as no man wants to align himself with someone who appears desperate. At times, you will have the opportunity to insert yourself into the cracks you have created, offering a listening ear, a soft word of support, a reminder that you are there, and that you see them as individuals, not as pawns of your enemy. You do not need to ask them to betray him, for betrayal will come naturally when the benefits of association with your enemy begin to diminish and the benefits of aligning with you begin to grow. They will slowly turn their backs on him, not with loud declarations, but with quiet actions, the kind that leave him isolated in the very rooms where he once felt powerful. As your enemy's circle begins to shrink, so does his confidence. The man who once walked with arrogance, believing he was untouchable, now finds himself surrounded by uncertainty, by people who no longer laugh as loudly at his jokes, who no longer defend his decisions as passionately, who no longer protect him from criticism as eagerly. He will feel the coldness of abandonment while still pretending he is in control. For admitting he is losing his support would be to admit weakness. The silence of those who once cheered him on will echo louder in his mind than any insult or confrontation ever could, weakening him from within, draining him of the energy he once used to maintain his power. There is no greater satisfaction than watching an enemy dig his own grave brick by brick, believing every step is a step toward his triumph. You will learn that the most elegant form of destruction is not done by your hand, but by their own under the weight of their pride, impatience, and ego. While you stand in the shadows, watching, recording, and wait, it is the path of the wise ruler, the unseen conqueror, the strategist who never needs to strike because he knows how to position his enemy to destroy himself. Men are creatures of their desires. Their desires for power, recognition, love, and superiority blind them more than any lie you could tell them. Their ego whispers that they deserve more, that they should be seen, that they should be feared, that they should be adored, and they chase these whispers like a starving dog chasing scraps. You in your quiet observation will learn what your enemy desires most, what he values above logic, above caution, above long-term survival. And it is there that you will set the stage for his downfall. You do not need to create false opportunities for him. You simply need to position yourself so that his desires lead him into choices that weaken him. If he craves public validation, you let him seek the spotlight repeatedly, letting him speak too often, letting him reveal too much, letting him promise what he cannot deliver, letting him expose his contradictions under the bright light he so desperately needs. If he desires power, you let him reach for it quickly, encouraging his impatience, praising his ambition, while knowing that in his haste, he will skip the careful alliances, burn bridges, and reveal his insecurities, as he tries to seize what he has not yet earned. If he desires to be seen as morally superior, you let him parade his virtue, letting him become intoxicated by his own image. Let them destroy themselves until the smallest slip or the smallest exposure of hypocrisy will destroy his carefully crafted persona. The higher a man raises himself in public perception, the harder he falls when the perception cracks. And the beauty is that you will not be the one to push him. You will simply allow his ego to do the work. You will become a mirror to your enemy, reflecting back exactly what he wants to see. If he seeks admiration, you will admire him. If he seeks agreement, you will agree. If he seeks a stage to display his greatness, you will give it to him. All the while you will watch, and you will remember, because the higher he believes he has risen, the more blind he will become to the small errors, the minor betrayals, the hidden resentments he creates around him. His supporters will begin to see the cracks, and you will not need to say a word, for they will whisper among themselves, questioning if the man they follow is as great as he claims. When your enemy makes these mistakes, you will not need to correct him. You will not need to challenge him. You will let him continue, letting him double down on his errors, letting him believe that every mistake is a victory, letting him lose allies slowly, letting him spend his influence recklessly, letting him expose himself in his hunger for validation and control. Each action he takes to protect himself, to silence critics, to prove himself, will only deepen the wounds he has inflicted on himself, and those around him will begin to see him as weak, desperate, and unstable. This is why your patience is your greatest weapon. The fool will always reveal himself if you give him enough rope, and your enemy, driven by his own desires, will provide that rope willingly. You do not stop him. You do not warn him. You do not intervene. You simply remain the observer, the silent figure in the background, the one who never openly opposes, the one who always appears supportive, the one who seems harmless, while in truth you are the architect of the environment in which his downfall becomes inevitable. Now you understand the art of destruction that leaves no blood on your hands. You understand that true power lies not in direct conflict, not in loud threats or reckless attacks, but in the cold patience of observation, in the mastery of silence that lets your enemies speak themselves into ruin. You see now how reputation is a weapon you can turn against them without them ever suspecting your hand, how perception is more powerful than truth, and how doubt, once planted, grows into a forest of fear within your enemies' minds. You understand the value of isolation, how dividing your enemy from his supporters weakens him more deeply than any strike could, how the silence of those around him will haunt him more than screams, how the absence of loyalty will shake his confidence until he collapses under the weight of his own paranoia. You see how the most elegant conquest is not to fight, but to let your enemies fight themselves, to let their ego and impatience lead them into traps of their own making while you remain still, unmoved, untouchable. You see now that your strength is in never revealing your full intent, in letting others believe you are harmless, kind, perhaps even foolish. While you gather every secret, every weakness, every inconsistency they reveal, you learn to let them speak. Let them expose themselves. Let them believe they are in control. Conclusion: Machiavellian mastery. While you hold the true power in your quiet collection of their flaws, they will never see it coming. They will never understand how they fell, and they will never suspect you, for your destruction leaves no fingerprints, no evidence known. This is how rulers stay in power, how kingdoms are taken without armies, how reputations are shattered without scandal, and how the wise walk away victorious while others fight battles they can never win. This is how you destroy anyone without ever attacking them. The path of the unseen conqueror.